So you're probably wondering why you're seeing the end sequence of Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder. Well, I'll touch on that in a moment, but we are talking about Mark Heffron versus Denzel Bentley for the vacant British Middleweight title. The title's been vacated by the champion Liam Williams. These guys fought in an eliminator earlier in the summer. A good domestic fight, close fight, with it being scored a draw. Many people scoring it to Denzel Bentley. Now, I want to touch on a few things actually. Good to see Denzel doing well. I remember him as a kid when he was playing football down Tooting Common. To see where he is now is amazing. You know, he's taken to the sport well, really well, and he deserves what he gets. I then look and I couldn't help but remark on the night that Mark Heffron's a near 10-year pro. I couldn't believe what I was watching. A near 10-year pro, touted. I remember remember he's had over 25 professional fights. Most fighters that have over 25 professional fights are near European and fighting for world honours. For him to be getting outboxed by Denzel Bentley, a relative novice pro still, is quite something. It's quite the feat for Bentley. But it also shows the alarming lack of development in Mark Heffron. I remember when Mark was operating out in Holland and he had no license here. His brother Ronnie was touted, but people were saying, keep an eye on Mark, he's the one, he's a stud, big shoulders, looks the part, can punch. Yet to see it, guys, yet to see it. I think he's a very basic, come forward fighter, and he has to evolve from that tomorrow night. It's make or break for him. It's make or break. For Denzel Bentley, if he loses tomorrow night, there's nothing wrong with that. He can come and he can go back to the drawing board. But with Mark Heffron, he's not getting any younger. If he can't seize the day tomorrow night, he's got to look at himself. And I'm not digging Mark Heffron out. I don't know the man. But all I'm saying to you is tomorrow night's make or break for him. And I find him frustrating to watch. Because I actually think the geezer could be a very good fighter if he implements the things that he needs to work on, that I'm going to mention. But one thing I will say, Mick Jennings, the lurcher, fantastic fighter in his day himself. I watched a little bit of their training and I did note that he is working on feints around the bag. And he kept making the point of telling Mark, feint and do it again. And then work off the jab. And that is something that he's going to need to work on. Now, let's hark back. Remember that I said about the Tyson Fury thing. We're going to go into that. So I'm going to break it down and then go from there. Okay, so if you remember in the first fight, Denzel Bentley, and Denzel reminds me a little bit of Wilder with his footwork. Denzel walked himself continually into the corner. Now, I want you to watch Tyson's footwork before he sets up the jab and the right hand. Just want you to check out what Tyson's doing with his feet. You can remember in this Wilder fight, Tyson slowed down a little bit because the fight was starting to become a little bit ragged. He got his second wind, and then he was able to use this foot feint to expose Wilder defensively. Now watch his front foot. He's in front, he's down the centre line. He throws a little jab, a little step, he shifts his weight back and then comes back in and steps in with the 1-2. Now the reason why I mention that is because I feel that Mark Heffron too many times when Denzel was in the corner smothered his work. Never used any feints and never used his feet. If he uses his feet and changes his foot tempo up, he can draw Bentley into mistakes. Denzel's an aggressive counterpuncher, and you can see here he's looking to roll back from the right hand and come back with a right uppercut, left hook, which he lands partially. But he leaves himself in a bad position. Now, if you imagine that if Mark was able to feint to draw that defensive lead or throw a little throwaway punch, he could then get Denzel to throw his ammunition while being out of the way of it to then come back in on the second phase to be able to then land to the head. You'll see here, he comes back out, he gets clipped by the left hook, he's able to ride through it and then land his own. But if he uses his feet in front of Bentley better, he will not only be able to land better quality punches, he will also be able to stop himself getting smothered. Something that Denzel did really, really well, was able to smother him and negate his work. And if I'm Mick Jennings in Heffron's corner, I'll be saying, put water in the basement, as Teddy Atlas says, go to the body early, because it is a 12-round fight and you can slow him down. Bentley was throwing a lot of arm shots. He was pushing his punches out in the second half of the fight. If you can go to the body and invest early, you can then start to take and cash out later on. But it's up to him to be able to come into range without getting caught himself. Because Bentley is aggressive, he throws from unorthodox angles. He's got to be careful of that. But if Heffron improves his footwork and his feints, it will give him a better standing in this fight. And if I'm in Denzel's corner, relatively simple. Don't give him easy shots to your head, especially to the right side of your face. Don't be so anxious to counterpunch with him. Pick your moments, stay slick, and protect your body. Don't walk yourself back to that corner. See here, use your jab. Keep adjusting position because Heffron's flat-footed and he has a full guard. So if you keep adjusting your position, he's constantly having to pick his feet up. He can't punch on the move. So if you keep for every step, every 2 steps he does, you make a step, you're taking it away from him. Keep stepping round him. That little hook there will cause him problems. Watch it again. Because you can turn off that hook because of where his right glove is. He's not a counter puncher like that, so you can hook off of it and turn him. And if you keep doing that, keep adjusting position, he will get frustrated. If he gets close to you, you can get underneath him, clinch him, turn him, as you saw in those clips. Go back if you haven't seen it. Go back in that little clip there, and you'll see that Denzel's able to turn him as well. So for me, Denzel just has to keep adjusting his position. Constantly adjusting where he is in the ring, because once he does that, he's always making Heffron react to him. In that first fight, Heffron was reacting constantly to what Bentley was doing. Denzel just has to keep utilising and changing the tempo of his jab, keep adjusting his position, and make sure that he doesn't walk himself back needlessly for no reason. It might look good, Floyd might do it, you're not Floyd. And that's the thing. Certain fighters are comfortable there. Denzel put himself in a vulnerable position. He doesn't need to be in the corner. Move along the ropes, that's fine. But don't walk yourself back into the corner and give yourself needless damage. You don't need to be there. Make him earn it. And I don't think Heffron was earning it in the first fight. But it's an intriguing one. There's a lot of things. It's up to Heffron to improve more than Bentley. But Bentley's got to execute again. Let me know your thoughts.